Shooting from the Lip features views and opinions from smart, funny, serious, and not so serious people. This show is intended for a mature and not so mature audience. Enjoy the show!
What is up? Kevin Hale up in this Shooting from the Lip studio, this house, doing it on this Monday night, what is this, June 5th, 2017. We're already, Russ, over 5 months into the year. What's up, Russell?
I think this is the 6th month, so we're like,
I said we're over 5 months. No, we're into the 6 months, but we're over 5 months. We're not over 6 months.
It wouldn't make for a very good show if we agreed on everything, would it?
Yeah, that's a damn good point. What's up with you, my brother from another mother?
Oh, not too much. Just on the grind.
No.
Trying to find out a get rich quick scheme. Still haven't given up on getting rich quick somehow.
I hear you. Hopefully, sooner than later, while we're still living and breathing, the show takes off and, we get to live happily ever after, like emperors.
Yeah.
Or penguins.
Absolutely.
In this case. Yeah, penguins. I'm trying to think anything that was going on locally here this past weekend. This wasn't a holiday weekend. I really didn't do anything. Actually, I don't think I really did anything. It was kind of boring weekend for me. Anyway.
Sounds lame to me.
It was lame. I needed a kind of a weekend away from really doing the heavy music venues and stuff. So actually I caught up on some rest.
Have you considered psychedelic mushrooms? I hear that makes for a fun weekend.
We can bring that up, during the segment too. But check this out, Russ. We like talking our round of shots, local, national trending topics. So I reached out to one of our favorites, Donna Halper, who is a wonderful lady. She's been on several times. And it's probably safe to say, and Donna would concur that, speaking of not agreeing with everything, Donna and Russ didn't always agree with everything, but at the end, it's like you all still hugged and,
I think we do agree on most things, honestly.
Probably. Okay. Donna's going to be on to do round of shots with us, along with our Shooting from the Lip contributors, Jeni, Jaggers, and Heather Tungate. That'll take us through the first hour of the show. And then the second hour or second segment, or 11-ish, Siobhan Atomica. That is her stage name. She is a Kentucky Burlesque Society. She's actually the owner of the Kentucky Society. She is also a performer. They got a gig coming up that she wants to talk about, promote, and there's something kind of naughty to talk after 11 o'clock burlesque, and you and I, Russ.
Yeah. I'm always down for naughty.
Naughty, I know. Let's get the party started. I'm turning mics on now. Donna Halper coming to us from the Northeast. She is a blogger, a teacher, professor,
the inspiration to millions.
Former DJ, and how she and I connected was that she has the claim to fame, Russ, that she was the DJ in Cleveland in 1974 that spun the first Rush record and basically introduced them to the States. And as Rush being my favorite band of all time, I thank you, Donna, and I thank you for being with us tonight.
Oh, my pleasure. It's been such a privilege to be part of the extended Rush family, and it really is family.
It is. I agree. Also joining us are lovely Jeni Jaggers, who is here in Louisville with us. Jeni, what's up?
Good evening. How are you?
Good, Jeni.
I miss you on Memorial Day.
I know you were vacationing, so I don't think you were missing us that much.
All right, I admit it. I may have had a large strawberry daiquiri in my hand at the time, but I was thinking of you. I was.
All right, in spirit. And rounding out our partay tonight is Heather Tungate, my partner in crime on the Sunday night show. She's also a Monday night contributor because she sees things through that conservative lens as well. Heather, what's up?
I feel like heaven. I don't know what to do. You bribed me. This is the only reason why I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, you just haven't talked to Russ. You just haven't talked to Russ in a while, and they all come back for Russ, which I think is, in Donna's case too. So, but
Absolutely.
Russ, we got three lovelies tonight with us, so let's make the most of it.
You finally made your high school aspirations come true. You said one day that you'll be at a party where there's more girls than guys, and you've done it, Kevin. Way to go.
I pulled it off, finally. Russ, real quick, Russ, do you have any 411 as an info on the sex life of penguins that you can brief us on real quick?
Well, I mean, of course, I don't ever prepare for a show, but I will pull from the wealth of knowledge. I'll pull from the wealth of knowledge that I've paid attention to, like random TV shows throughout my life. I know that at least emperor penguins get together and mate for life, and that the father plays a very intricate role into taking care of helping the mother take care of the egg. So they are slightly evolved as far as coupling species. They're kind of, I don't know if you call that evolved or just kind of limiting themselves, but they seem to be pretty cool like that.
All right.
You can find out by watching March of the Penguins.
Absolutely.
All right, guys.
That's a great movie. Come on,
Our round of shots tonight. I've got a couple of local topics that I'm going to throw at the people, Russ, throw at us tonight. I've got Donna's latest blog I want to discuss. Of course, we got some Trump stuff. And some comedians who not probably did take things a little too far, but let's get started. First topic: Russ, our Kentucky governor, made an appearance in Louisville recently, and the basis of the appearance was the fact that the violence, some of the violence that was happening here. He met with some of the community leaders about things that could happen to make the city better. One of the things that he spoke of, Russ, and this is right up your twisted alley, he suggested prayer be part of the routine, part of the practice. Russ, I know you like you said, guys. Russ doesn't. I'll send out topics, links, everything, so that people can see and understand what we're talking about. But Russ wants to just, be spur of the moment. So Russ,
I like to be present in the moment, and not spur of the moment, but present in the moment, Kevin, and use my presence to answer the queries. But you know what? Actually, my daughter had the hiccups the other day, so we looked on YouTube for a way to cure the hiccups. She's 5.5, and thought it would be a fun little way to do it. We saw prayer, but I explained to her that was complete nonsense. And then we found one where you actually you drink water while pulling down with your right hand on your right earlobe. And we've tried it 3 times with her cousin and another person, and all 3 times we're 100% on curing the hiccups by drinking water while you got to take 5 gulps while pulling down on your right earlobe. I don't know why the earlobe comes into play, but it does on the YouTube video. It's worked every time. So I would say even drinking water and pulling down on your right earlobe is more effective than prayer in most cases. So maybe Bevan should have mentioned that.
Can I say something in defense of prayer? May I defend prayer for a second?
You're next in line.
But not defend your governor. I will not defend your governor. Right. And I'll tell you why not. Ever since the Supreme Court said that prayer in the public schools was captive audience and hence not constitutional, my conservative friends have been saying that we got to bring back prayer in the schools. No, we don't have to bring back prayer in the schools, because those who are from a minority religion, like I am, our prayers never got said. It was always majority prayer. Nothing wrong with praying, okay? I used to be a chaplain. I'm fine about praying in your house of worship, but I'm not real persuaded that it's a magic answer for the problems in society. I think the problems in society are a heck of a lot bigger than what your governor is saying. He's looking for the nice, easy answer and the nice, easy applause line, and I think he can do better than that.
Yeah. Now, Jamie,
how do you feel about pulling down on your earlobe while drinking water? You think that'll help?
If you're praying while you're doing it, well, you might choke.
Oh, you might choke. Touche. Now, Jamie, once Bevan made his little comments, you had, and this is all on video. So, and no, I didn't pull this off CNN, Jamie. This is actual real stuff. There was reverends who some rolled the eyes or shook their head. They were kind of like caught off guard with this. This is our governor, Jamie, and your part, So tell me your thoughts.
Well, I want to expand on what he actually said in the press conference, because I think that everyone really the religion thing is so controversial to begin with that people really singled out the fact that he said that. But what he actually said was to do prayer walks, and for these people to have set nights throughout the week where they march and go together through the neighborhoods and go up to other people in their neighborhood, introduce themselves, connect with them, get to know them, and reach out to each other more. And for these to be like organized walks. And so there was a really big emphasis on connecting with your neighbors and getting to know each other. And, this was met with a lot of controversy, obviously, because there were a lot of people that supported him. But I did also see interviews with quite a few people who were down with the idea that said, if we want to change this, we've got to get involved with our own communities and actually go out there and do something. Now, do I think it was an oversimplified idea or an oversimplified plan? Obviously. But I do think when it comes to religion, it's really easy to make light of this and to turn it into a joke. But I think he was sincere. And I think that the overall idea of just no matter what you believe in, if you're willing to go out there, put yourself out there, join together in a group, go to your neighbors, go out to different people on specific blocks where, literally people are being murdered on the corners every day, that he's trying to get a point across there, I think. So it is oversimplified, don't get me wrong, but I do think there's more to the story, and people are glossing over the rest of it.
Heather, finish it up.
So I understand, and I kind of agree as well that, I understand in theory what Bevan is trying to do, and that's to pretty much get people active in their community. However, besides just prayer itself, it takes a lot more to be active in your community. It's going out and speaking to folks about what they're facing, what they think would help their community, and kind of what they need, so to speak. And I think when politicians say, oh, just prayer or oh, just policy, so to speak, they kind of gloss over a little bit what the people need in the neighborhood. And this is when, I would invite, whether you're a Republican or Democrat, because by the way, I live about 25 minutes outside of Cincinnati. And let me tell you, prayer isn't the only thing that's going to help, in my city. It's getting out and knowing your community, knowing the problems that they are facing, and coming up with real-time solutions that the community can follow and adjust to that will make it a little bit better. And overall, that's the issue with politicians. They come up with these kind of broad ideas, but they don't expand on them, and they kind of gloss over their ideas, what could potentially help their citizens. And while I think Bevan, tried to kind of articulate a semi-good idea, I think he missed the mark. And, I would invite him and other people to come in, to kind of the cities and these neighborhoods and really truly find out what the people need, because I think that's where politicians miss the mark consistently, and they have for many years.
Russ, your final for the next topic.
I was looking up, last Thursday, I went to a Todd Snyder concert. He's a oh boy recording artist. John Prine's on that label too. He's a folk singer. So I was going to close with, he has a song, what is the name of the song? It's called In the Beginning. The song tells a story about how in the beginning a couple of guys were sitting around and they saw a guy that had all kinds of stuff that he was, he just had his cave had more than everybody else had in their cave. Anyway, long story short, the last line of the song says, "And with that, we rolled into the future. And ain't it a son of a bitch to think we would still need religion to keep the poor from killing the rich?" Because the moral of the story was they saw somebody with a whole bunch. They wanted it. They thought it wasn't fair. That guy said, "Hey, the reason I have all this is because I was loyal to a sky daddy." And so it's just a ploy. The politicians are going to use it until people are awake enough to realize that monotheism was a scam perpetrated by governments since 2,000 years ago. So that'd be my final take.
Final take. All right, that's enough. Next topic. This one, still staying in Louisville. And Jamie, I think you made a comment on your Facebook about this one. I think, if I remember,
I did.
Woman who left baby in trash can at a Louisville store was sentenced to probation, just probation. Left in a trash can, and the newborn was later found dead. Jamie, you're in the media, and how did this kind of resonate from in your line of work and your thoughts?
Well, what are my thoughts on it? My personal thoughts, which actually have nothing to do with my job. First of all, they begin with this judge, Olu Stevens, who we've seen him in the media quite a bit. He's the one who dismissed a jury because there were no African American present in a trial for an African American man. I believe he was accused of murder. I'm not 100% sure, but he was, placed on administrative leave and got in trouble for that. He ended up having to take time off from work, apologize in order to come back, things like that. So I'm familiar with who he is, and I can't say that it shocked me too much when he gave this woman delivered her baby at work. She's 32 years old and threw the baby in the trash. The baby died. They couldn't really say exactly how she died, and she's only getting, I think it's 5. Oh my gosh, it's okay, 10 years of probation or something like that, 5 or 10. Yeah. I've seen juveniles do this, like kids, like 14-year-old girls do this kind of thing and get worse punishment. This woman is 32 years old. She had a full-time job. She was, self-sustaining adult, threw her newborn in the trash. I am appalled, absolutely appalled. She should be in jail, hands down. It's a crime. It's murder. I personally, as a more conservative thinker, my opinion is that the more we're normalizing abortion, the more we're seeing things like this where, she had babies, threw it in the trash, just give her probation. That's my thing.
Well, yeah, there's...
Can I take issue with what she just said?
Well, hold that thought. Hold on a second.
Go ahead.
Hold on a second, Donna. Hold on. Now, let me add this person... which include no criminal history, but years of mental instability, including suicide attempts and a miscarriage. There's clearly she's had some issues, has had issues. But Donna, jump in. Your take. Does that help the cause?
I'm not persuaded that this has anything to do with, quote, normalizing abortion. There have been so many ongoing efforts to demonize abortion, and I'm not real persuaded that tonight is a good time to have the conversation. But let's talk about pro-life, pro-choice in the context of one of the reasons why people have no respect for the law is because you get people, both male and female, who commit the same crime over and over, and judges just give them probation. I can name you drunk driving cases. Now, agreed, there are some people who like to go out and have a few, but please don't get behind the wheel. We had a case in Massachusetts where a guy was on his 6th drunk driving, has not done a day in jail, and this time he actually hit and killed someone. Now, those of us that believe in the rule of law, I'm with you. I think the woman should probably do some jail time. But rather than making this a litmus test on abortion or not abortion, how about we start taking a look at sentencing guidelines? Because there really are some people that seem like they just get away with it over and over again, whereas there are some others that maybe there's mental illness, maybe there's other stuff going on. I just despair trying to figure out what the rules are today.
That's a good point. Heather, jump in.
I had not heard of this case until actually, Kevin, you sent the email talking about it. And this is, in my opinion, for a woman to throw a full term into a trash can is absolutely horrendous to me.
Absolutely.
I have always felt like when it came to abortion, and this is controversial for both a lot of my liberal friends and a lot of my conservative friends, that a woman has a right to choose when it comes to rape, incest, or a medical emergency. when a woman has, when a woman gets pregnant because of other circumstances beyond those kind of things, has to know whether or not she wants to have a baby. So why would you wait until your full term, and maybe in this case, to throw a baby in a trash can? And I don't know what the coroner's report said, but I would assume that it suffocated. Why would you do that as a human being? Why would you throw a full-term baby in a trash can so that it could not breathe and could not survive? So with that said, I fully believe this woman should have been prosecuted. She knew right from wrong. And I understand that there was supposedly a history of depression and maybe a miscarriage, so on and so forth. She knew what she was doing. And here's why I say that, because when you went through the court proceedings, her attorney, I believe, admitted that, or at least she admitted that she made mistakes. Come on. If you admitted that you made mistakes, you know that you were wrong, and you know that was completely horrible. And I cannot believe that this woman only got away with probation.
Russ.
And
yeah.
By the way, I hope I didn't sound in any way, shape, or form like I was in defending her. I was just saying I think that this isn't a case about abortion so much as it is about some people should not get pregnant. Seriously.
No, completely understand that 100%.
Yeah. Go ahead, Russ.
Well, I mean, I'm going to add a couple of conflicting even ideas. One, there's probably something to be said for mental illness here, and I'm not trying to say that to get her off. I actually think that if someone does something like this and they're and it is deemed that they're mentally ill, that there should be mandatory sterilization. I mean, that should not happen again. I mean, this person, as a matter of fact, I think a condition of her probation should be mandatory sterilization. She has no business even being around a child, honestly. So that's one take. That's, it'll be extreme on some levels, but logical on other levels. But with that said, obviously, I mean, you can know right from wrong in different levels and different spectrums, but in some way here, whether it's, it was however she was brought up, if she had some kind of pressure from, her family to not have a child. I don't know all the circumstances or anything like this. But this was a troubled individual. Whether she may be sane as anyone in most circumstances, but in this particular circumstance, her mind failed her. Her mind failed her. It failed everything. So I think she has some serious mental issues. If nothing else, I mean, postpartum depression. A lot of women get real seriously, scared of postpartum depression as a real thing. I've never really had any experience with it, so I can't speak to it. But yeah, I mean, she definitely. You have to punish people, even the mentally ill in society, so that other people, that are maybe not all the way mentally ill, but slightly mentally ill, see that, hey, wait a minute, even if this seems like something to do at the time, maybe I shouldn't do it because there's bad consequences. So that's, that'd be my input.
Good take, guys. All right, next topic. Going to start with Donna. Donna, this was your blog, your latest blog, Attacking Reporters Needs to Stop Now, which is... has been the depending on which side of the fence you stand on when it comes to the political scene. There's one side that seems to think that a majority of the media reporting is fake news, like there's an agenda. But Donna, let me go ahead, jump in and share your quick take.
My take is very simple. Okay. In a democracy, it is important to have freedom of the press. And freedom of the press should not be defined by the person in power, whether it's a Democrat, whether it's a Republican, whether it's a libertarian. Freedom of the press is in the Constitution, and it's important. The reason I wrote the blog post, and by the way, I am really tired of the term fake news being thrown around. Fake news refers to incidents that never occurred and quotes that were never said. It has nothing to do with whether the president agrees with the coverage or not. Historically, presidents have not liked the coverage they got. That is as old as time, okay? But still, whether you agree with the coverage, that does not give you the right to beat up a reporter or threaten a reporter or shoot at a reporter's office. All of these things are happening. The reason I wrote my blog post was after Greg Gianforte of Montana beat up a reporter. He basically body slammed him and threw him to the ground and then lied about it. And to the credit of a Fox News reporter, she said, no, he was not doing anything. He was just asking a question, and the candidate just lost it and grabbed him by the throat and tossed him to the ground. What bothered me was the responses on Twitter and on Facebook, which were often from the conservative side saying he had it coming, he deserved it, they should have done more to him, that's how liberal reporters should be treated. And I sat there and I was like, oh my God, if the shoe were on the other foot, you wouldn't want liberals going, yeah, that's how you treat a conservative, beat them up. You know, this is setting a very dangerous precedent. It has to stop now. Whether you agree or disagree with the coverage, threatening journalists, hitting journalists, beating up journalists, what a sad place we have come to if that is going to be normalized. So that's why I wrote my blog post.
There you go. Jamie, like I said, you mentioned, you're part of the media. What's your take?
Well, yeah, I am a former reporter, military reporter. And I want to touch on two different sides of this, if that's okay, because I don't think that violence, like physical violence towards reporters, is being normalized. You know, I think we see a couple of crazy stories, you know, kind of like if you walk, you know, next door to your neighbor and have a conversation, you know, things are more peaceful in our world than we're being told in the media. And I think that it's the same thing with reporters. Like, we're being told that it's violent and people are getting beat up and hurt. And yes, these things happen, but it isn't being normalized and you don't see it. I've been working in a media environment here locally for almost 2 years, and I've never seen violence happen toward a reporter ever. So with that, and never to myself, and I was a reporter for 6 years. So I just think that's a lie. Do I think it's something to be upset about when it does happen? Yes, but it is not. It is a far cry from being normalized right now. The other side of that I want to talk about is President Trump, because if you turn on the news, we're not stupid. Everybody knows that every news outlet has a slant, and we know if that slant is left or right. We're not dumb. And almost every news outlet, with the exception of Fox News, is slamming President Trump and his entire administration right now. Just slamming him. You really can't turn it on and see anything positive. So that's their right. And I completely agree that, you know, this is a constitutional right. They can cover the stories however they want. You know, they have the freedom to do that. But President Trump has the freedom to say whatever the hell he wants as well. He's also an American. I don't care that you don't like it. I mean, he's still, yes, he's the president. That I get it. But for him to say that he thinks something is fake news is his opinion, and he has a right to it, and he can say it. And to me, it's kind of leveling the playing field a little bit when you got 9 out of 10 news outlets slamming him on a daily basis. It's making people say to themselves, okay, maybe I should be a little more logical. You know, maybe I need to do some critical thinking and look at somebody else's opinion on this matter, because all these stations are just slamming him.
May I just say two things to what you just said, if I may? Thing number one, you said the fact that this is allegedly happening to journalists, this is a lie. I have 3 friends who have been not only threatened, but one of them had to get police protection to leave a Donald Trump rally. She is not a liar. She's a friend of mine. And
I never
don't
said
see
it was a lie. I have to correct you, because I never once said it was a lie. I just said that it's not being mass normalized. I never said it was that these people were lying.
Right, and nobody is stopping Mr. Trump from saying whatever he wants to say. He absolutely has freedom of speech. But I'm just not persuaded that the media are all against him. I'm thinking that maybe the media are not reporting things the way he would like, and he has a group of outlets that do report it the way he likes, and that's a good thing. I just don't want to see journalists bearing the brunt of assault or verbal assault just for doing their jobs, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay, let me
no matter
Russ,
whether they're liberal or conservative. I would say the same thing for you. I would want to see you defend it as well.
Right. Russ, jump in.
What I was going to say is, I mean, come on. I mean, it's we got we have a cartoon president, man. We have even Fox News is bad. There's even people at Fox News that have bashed him and have left the network, over them like saying, look, we're fine with towing the party line and, banging the drum for conservatism, but don't make us support a clown face buffoon. I mean, I hate to throw in, invective and vitriol and rhetoric, but this guy, that's what he wants. He wants to reduce it to that. He wants to reduce it to, buffoonery so that he can get, people who are, hate something else so bad, they'll support even the buffoonery. He's famous for saying he could shoot someone in the street and not lose any votes because he is playing to buffoons for the most part. I mean, that Hillary Clinton, it was a terrible political move, but she's I don't agree with the word deplorable. She should have used buffoon. He's appealing to buffoons, and buffoons like him.
I've never heard you use buffoon.
I know.
even Fox News, I mean, knows. I mean, there's people that are, see right through it. I mean, I know of conservatives across, like intellectual, academia conservatives who were like, they would rather have seen Hillary win just so they didn't have to be aligned with this buffoon. I mean, it's just. I mean, I don't think anybody wanted the buffoon to be a president, but the people running against him. I hate to go back to the thing where other buffoons that were like super religious buffoons, and now we got a super religious buffoon vice president. I mean, for the most part, Hillary's kind of a buffoon. She's a puppet too. I mean, they're all puppets. It's just they decided to go with like the real cartoonish puppets this time instead of the ones that kind of look like real people. I mean, it's just, that's where we are, where we got buffoons, so we're going to have buffoonery. So just get used to it.
Heather, finish us up.
Okay, story time with Heather for a second. So many of you guys don't know, but Kevin does. My mom worked for former Senator Jim Bunning for 21 plus years. She started with him in '86 when he was first elected into the 4th Congressional District, which is Northern Kentucky pretty much, and ended with him when he retired from the Senate. There was an instance where during his campaign with Daniel Margiardo that the national media painted him as kind of a crazy and said that, and I think at this point, Time Magazine had said that he was like one of the worst senators in the U.S. and that he was never available for votes, so on and so forth. Here's how the media can manipulate the public. What people didn't realize was going on when they called Jim Bunning crazy, the U.S. State Department at the time had sent out a alert, so to speak, to senators and congressmen about upping their security because there was a threat by, at the time, I think it was Al-Qaeda, when it came to, securing themselves, their families, so on and so forth, and just pretty much heightening your awareness, so to speak. And this just happened after 9/11. So that part, for whatever reason, Bunning upped his security. Apparently he was called crazy for that. The second part is that him and his wife were at Fancy Farm one year, and one of Margiardo's staff, and I have multiple people who will confirm this, got pretty aggressive with his wife, which further upped their security. And when that happened and that came out in the media, he was further deemed crazy because apparently nobody would bother his wife. It happened. My mother was there. But the narrative was at the time, because we had an unpopular president in George W. Bush, that Jim Bunning was crazy. So the third and final thing is that Bunning was not, what's to say? He didn't like the media because he knew the spin. He was a part of Washington. He was a part of the media. He knew what happened and what was spewed out. And this was before, by the way, social media, pretty much internet, just what was spewed out in general. And he just didn't talk to those folks. And the media hated that. So whenever they had a chance, they would completely 100% throw him under the rug. So that's the bad side of media. But here's the other thing. when you have guys like Donald Trump who tweet whatever the hell they want without any censor, without anybody standing up to them and saying, dude, what are you talking about? Or what you're saying is not even accurate. Yes, it completely makes these elected officials not only look like dumbasses, but it makes the media look like at times that, especially to Trump supporters, that they're out for this witch hunt. Here's what I would tell people when it comes to the media and politicians. They try to manipulate each other. Who wins in the end? I don't know. I mean, I think it kind of goes back and forth depending on the election cycle. And the media, one thing they have to be careful about is sources. And we've heard so much about sources and people leaking sources, and they have to be careful about where they hear their information, because I think there's been a few times in the last several years where we've heard sources and things have not tended to happen. But I also think there have been times too where with politicians, things have happened and they've discredited sources even though the evidence is there. It's kind of odd. It's a weird political time in this country because, you know, I feel like you, no, I know, weird. Weird is a good word.
That's one word we could use.
Well, wait, hold on. It's a shit stand.
It is, hold on.
Can I just insert something? Could I very quickly insert something?
Sure.
You just raised that. You just touched upon something. It's really important, and it's completely non-partisan, so we may all be able to agree with it. The media do have winners and losers. They do play favorites. Some people want to turn that into something partisan. Okay, well, it's all the Democrats, blah-de-blah, or it's all the Republicans, blah-de-blah. I have the feeling that there are just certain politicians that the media love because they're approachable, they schmooze with the media, they're friendly, they do interviews. In 2008, a lot of people in the media loved John McCain. They thought he ran a horrible campaign, but they really liked him personally, and they really cut him a lot of slack for a while just because for years he had them on his bus. He gave them, dinner, this and that. I really do think there are some politicians that the media just cut them a lot of slack, and then there are others that the media just decide they're nuts, they're crazy, they're this, they're that, and they get nothing but negative publicity. My only comment is it's a lot more nonpartisan than you might think, but I understand that it might seem like, oh yeah, it's all being done to this party or that party. I think reporters are human, and I think that sometimes they are susceptible to praise and flattery. But I still don't think they should be beaten up or insulted or given death threats, I'm saying.
No, and let me be clear. What happened with the guy in Minnesota or was it Montana? Sorry. It should have never happened. Yeah, clearly it should have never happened, because at the end of the day, if you're going to enter into the public life, you have to be susceptible and you have to be willing to answer the tough questions. Because again, this is going to happen, especially if you're a politician. That's what's going to happen during the entirety of your career. But if you are going to get hell-bent and crazy over one question, I mean, then to me, you're viewed, and I know this is going to go a multitude of ways after I say this, you're viewed as crazy, as incapable, and to me, a politician should be able to be not only just, I don't know, I mean, mature about everything, but they should be able to handle any tough question or situation with grace. The guy in Montana did not. There's many people that are going to say, that Donald Trump has not. But I would also say on the flip side, there's a lot of politicians who wouldn't be able to do the same thing as well.
Here, check this out. That means we're done with this topic. Next topic. Cool soundbite, huh?
Weak.
No, weak. I got this. This next one I'm gonna skip around because I know I want to change the flow here. But Hillary Clinton's been making some news lately because she's been aggressively speaking out, either about the election, the failed election, the reason why the election, Twitter wars, barbs with Trump. Heather, you asked me to bring Hillary up. So you obviously have something you want to say. So I'll let you get the party started with Hillary.
Okay, so first and foremost, the fact that she compared her situation to Pearl Harbor was completely asinine to me. This has nothing to do with Pearl Harbor. This has nothing to do with, world war, so to speak. Here's the thing with Hillary Clinton, and this is, I may be conservative, but I did not vote for Donald Trump, and I have often voted against party lines. When Bill Clinton stood up at the Democratic National Convention and started his speech with, "I met a girl," you know what I added? And a girl, and a girl, and a girl. I was watching this extended House of Cards. And that just completely, and even Susan Sarandon, by the way, I know she was a Bernie Sanders supporter. She looked annoyed too. Like, why am I watching this bull crap? I mean, what is going on here? So the reason why you lost is because people just don't buy the crap you're selling. It has nothing to do with what experience you may or may not think you have, or what your supporters may or may think make you a good president. It's because people genuinely don't like you. And I am sorry, we can talk about Russian collusion and emails and hacking, but at the end of the day, for me, or I think most educated people, when they heard Bill Clinton try to sell the "I met a girl" speech, everybody knew the Clinton family was full of crap.
Can I take issue with what you just said? And not because I was a Hillary supporter, because I wasn't. I'm a Bernie fan. I go back 40 years with him. I think he's one of the last of the honest politicians. I never thought he was electable, but just a really good guy. That having been said, and I'm like you, I've voted against Democrats. I voted for Republicans. I vote for the person rather than the party. And I really do not think that Hillary is a natural campaigner or a natural politician, and I don't think she ran a very good campaign for all the money that she threw at it. But I don't think it was about I had a girl or anything of that nature. I would be lying to you if I said I know Hillary. I don't. But I know a lot of people who are friendly with her because I was in broadcasting for many years. And they have said, believe it or don't, Bill and Hillary really love each other. Yes, I know that's a shock to a lot of people. Yes, I know Bill is a tomcat. I get it. But the fact remains, for whatever reason, they always keep coming back to each other. So the I met a girl speech, I don't think that's what did it. I think this was a change election. There were a lot of angry people. And can I tell you something honestly? When I look at it, this is the best we got. We got Trump and we got Hillary, and to some degree we got Bernie, and I adore Bernie, but I mean, a bunch of 70-year-olds.
I know.
I just sat there going, what? I mean, with all of the people that are out there from both parties, what we got left with in many cases was not the best choice. And we can have a long conversation about why Hillary lost or this and that. She's got every right to be bitter. She's got every right to speak her mind. But the fact remains, it's time for all of these folks to leave the stage and let the next generation of politicians try to come up with some better solutions. Because, boy, howdy, I'm sure not happy with what I'm seeing so far from this bunch.
Here.
Russ.
He has a good point.
Go ahead. Go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Russ. Go ahead, Russ.
Yeah, I agree with Donna about at least getting the geriatrics out of there. I mean, old people kind of suck, But
I don't.
Terrible drivers, and they eat dinner way too early. They eat dinner way too early. That's all I'm saying. But plus they eat prunes.
Hey, come on! I just turned 70, but I'm still young and cute. Give me a break.
Oh,
Yeah,
hey,
give her a break.
I hear you. I'm just jumping on the band.
Even the members of Rush are in their 60s. Come on, we're all getting older.
Well, I mean, the hippies are kind of cool, though. Old hippies are fun.
Okay.
So, yeah, I got you there.
But, yeah, we really do need some different politicians, seriously.
And I'm going to defend Bill Clinton right away because, I mean, that guy, if anything, he has the willpower, a lot of willpower. Because, I mean, obviously he has a high-sex drive, and he made it to the highest office in the land. He made it to the highest office in the land. I mean, but I think he's a saint. I mean, because he only got caught by one, let's face it, kind of homely intern getting a little blowy. I mean, I can tell you right now, I'd have been way worse. Now, I love my woman, love her to death, but I can guarantee you if we're living in different cities and stuff's going on and I'm the president of the United States, I'm going to get down behind the scenes. There's no question.
What would the highlight of the Oval Office be if you were there, Russ?
Dude, I mean, it's like Tiger Woods. It's like these people. Here's the problem with people at that level. They forget a couple of things. They think they've conquered the world. They think they can that they can't be touched. But how does Tiger Woods not have a driver that drives him everywhere at the drop of a hat? I mean, just following him around, like laying back and wait, saying, Tiger, I'm here, we're going to drive, I'm good. Something like that. I mean, how does that happen? How does Bill Clinton have to solicit a BJ from an intern? I mean, how does he why? I mean, do you think the president of France has to do that? Hell no, he's got 19-year-olds lined up for yacht rides. I mean, he can, the paparazzi makes fun of it. These people, they just admit the shit. They're not puritanical, they're not nonsensic, It's like, oh, no, I'm the president of the United States, and my wife lives in New York, and she's a politician, too, and I'm just going to, watch X Hamster and play with myself. No, that's not how that works. To the victor goes the spoils, man.
Oh, Russ is just up the ante. Jamie, please finish this Hillary.
Oh, my gosh. I think this is becoming way too much about this conversation specifically is just becoming way too much about Bill. My answer is so simple. I couldn't stand her from the moment I found out that she was even running for president. I think she's a joke. I cannot stand this woman, and I'm a veteran, so I have really good reasons for that, and I won't go into it, but man, I wish she would shut up. And I think that she's making women look stupid because to so many women in America, she represented women. She represented us. And now she just looks like such a wuss. She won't stop whining. It's so much blame, so much everything that comes out of her mouth is about how this wasn't her fault. Or, especially when she was saying misogyny played a role in this. Shut up. Just shut up and go away. No one liked you. Nobody likes you now. Just shut up and go behind the curtain.
I love it. I love it when a woman doesn't think misogyny played. I mean, I don't like Hillary either, but I love it when a woman doesn't think misogyny played a role. That shows them. That shows, hey, Kevin, we can tell the boys back at the club. They're buying it. They're totally buying it.
Jeez, I'm sorry. I think misogyny did play a role. I don't think it was the only reason she lost, but I really do believe there is still a double standard. Again, whether you're Republican or Democratic, I still feel that if you are a woman politician, there is a different set of standards that is applied to you. And what I don't understand is, maybe someone can explain to me, how Mr. Trump can be married 3 times, have admitted to committing adultery, and yet Christians voted for him. And I'm like, what? Okay.
Well, I think a lot of Christians voted for him because he was the candidate they had available when it came down to it. He was the Republican candidate. So a lot of my Christian friends aren't fans of his, but they voted for him.
Okay.
I mean, you did get my sarcasm, right, Donna?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I was gonna say, yeah. I was saying,
but I can point out. I really can point out to you examples of really sexist things that have been said about women candidates, again, from both sides. So yes, we're not quite there yet in terms of treating female candidates exactly like anyone else. Is that the only reason oh, no, that's not the only reason she lost. But I would not so readily poo-poo the sexism because, yes, it is sadly still a factor in American politics.
But my sarcasm supported that point exactly. You got that right.
Yeah.
Okay. Just like Barack Obama, if anybody thinks that race, I'm surprised he got elected. Honestly, I can't believe he got elected because, I mean, you can see how angry the people who didn't vote for him are just by their fervent support of any buffoon that the Republicans put up. And it happened to be
Orange is the new black, right, Russ? Orange is the new black.
Orange is the new used car salesman for sure.
Okay. All right. Next topic. I'm going to let Jamie start off here. couple of comedians, Kathy Griffin, Bill Maher. Kathy with her ISIS kind of take with Trump, and then Bill Maher used a racial slur this past Friday night on his show Real Time. Jamie, comedians taking things a little too far. From me to everyone on the panel, I'm a Bill Maher guy. I don't give a shit about Kathy Griffin, but Bill Maher is my guy. I still support him, but Bill did cross the line. That was a no-no for Bill, and I hope we can somehow get past that. Yeah, okay. Well, you get to talk, but Jamie goes first. Jamie, your take.
Thank you. Well, I'm going to start with Kathy because I really have to wonder if this whole thing was just a publicity stunt from right out the gate. I just don't think anyone is that stupid. It's hard for me to believe someone is that stupid because now the entire nation is looking at her. And the fact that she said Donald Trump broke her and that she tried to like fake cry. She didn't even look genuine at her stupid press conference.
Her apology. Yeah.
So... Yeah, the whole thing has just seemed almost like a total hoax, and it's preposterous. It's unacceptable. You know, the photograph that she took is appalling, in my opinion. I still think it should be protected free speech, and that's my opinion. Just because I don't want the government to be overly involved in people expressing their views. I mean, it did, however, cross a serious line. I mean, it could very well be seen as inciting violence toward the president. But one thing that it did do for me personally, watching this unfold and posting a few things about it on Facebook, and I do have, believe it or not, left-leaning friends still in my feed, as conservative as I can be sometimes.
For real?
Who really surprised me. I didn't see anyone on the left or right condoning this. I didn't. I still haven't found anybody that's like, yay, Kathy, and, you know, thinks that this was a good idea. And I think that it reassured me a little bit that, you know, we still have our wits about us on the left and the right, that, you know, we're not going to sit here and say that it's okay to hold a fake decapitated head of the president of the United States. And that was reassuring for me. Mm-hmm. As far as what Bill said, the racial slur, you know, I thought it was, if it were a stand-up comedy show and it were in a private venue and not on national television, would it have been funny? Perhaps, depending on a little more context.
That's a good point.
I mean,
that's where,
you know,
right. Now he was interviewing a was it a governor? But basically, yeah. In that dialogue with in that dialogue with the congressman, that's where it was distasteful. I agree. If it was stand up or even during his opening monologue to his audience, he could have probably gotten away with it there, but not in an interview. Russ, let me shift to you.
You're talking about something. It's no. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Right. Okay. Go ahead, Russ. Real quick.
You're Bill Maher. I could care less about Kathy. Yeah, I could care less about Kathy Griffin. I saw a little bit of it, watched a little bit of it, and had our attorney up there. It does look like a big publicity ploy to me. I mean, there's only one way for Kathy Griffin to go in any kind of publicity stunt, and that's up. Because I mean, who's seen anything that she's done in the last 5 years? If you're not like happening to be walking through Vegas and somebody hands you a couple of tickets, hey, you want to go see Kathy Griffin? I mean, if you've already eaten and there's absolutely nothing else to do, then yeah, maybe. But with that said, Kathy Griffin's kind of as relevant as Hillary Clinton to me, and Honey Boo Boo. I'll put all three of them in the same basket. But the Bill Maher, yeah, those three can be in the basket. A basket of
hello.
Definitely a basket of uncomfortables there. But let me finish Bill Maher real quick.
I'm so sorry.
Bill Maher's thing is, I didn't really think about, he's a comedian. He's it's an artistic thing. You do things right off the top comedy. The funniest comedy is a little bit shocking. It will take you out of a comfort zone. That's the best comedy. If you don't understand that means you take yourself too seriously. But with that said, with the congressman, he should have had a filter, because it put that I don't care if it's Republican or Democrat or whoever, puts them in a real weird situation, because they have to answer to all their constituents, and there's nobody that doesn't have constituents of every ethnicity. So that was, he should come out and apologize. But for people calling for his job, those people are what I refer to as self-righteous indignance. It's a fake outcry. It's a fake indignation that they just want to attack somebody and they do it to make themselves look better. If they can point some fingers and say, hey, look what he said, I would never say that. That's just a ploy to make themselves look better, and it's a pathetic ploy.
All right, Donna, your turn.
Yeah, thank you. What I was going to say is, and this is another subject I blog about a lot, we have become a rude, confrontational culture. And when Ted Nugent, for example, called President Obama a subhuman mongrel, I sat there and I was like, dude, you haven't had any hits in years, okay? So, like, if this is what you think you got to do to get some attention, the one hit you had wasn't very good. But this is where we are as a culture.
Cat Scratch Fever or Wang Dang Sweet Pooh?
Yeah, I'll go for Cat Scratch Fever. But my point is that in a very competitive media universe, we seem to have given not just comedians, but performers in general, the idea that the more and more they raise the bar, the more and more outrageous they are, people will talk about them. And it's not heading in a good direction. The rudeness, the nastiness, the vitriol, the grossness. I mean, Bill Maher used a historical expression that, it's tacky, but he wasn't calling anybody that. And I'm not defending him. I'm just saying he wasn't calling anybody that. He was using a terminology that he probably shouldn't have used. But in a context where more and more you see people on cable and elsewhere on the internet using that and 10 times worse, you sit there and you're like, my God, where is it going to end? Is there nothing that people won't say to get some ratings or get some attention or get some clicks on Facebook? It's a sad commentary. That's all I got.
That's all you got.
And I would agree with that. Oh, go ahead.
Heather, finish this off, and then we'll go next topic.
Okay, so I'm kind of in agreement with everyone else. As far as Kathy Griffin, what who's this new phone? I don't get it. No, I know who Kathy Griffin is. I think what she did was ridiculous. It completely crossed the line. And and I fully believe, whether you want to or not, that Donald Trump's son, his youngest son, and I'm talking about Barron Trump, who is rumored to be autistic, saw his son saw the picture of his father decapitated on national news. And I'm sure it disturbed him. I mean, it would have disturbed my 12-year-old son or my 9-year-old twin daughters. And they're not rumored to be autistic. I can't imagine what that did to that kid. With that said, again, when it comes to Bill Maher, I have watched the show. I actually think he's absolutely hilarious. And this is coming, Kevin, from your conservative friend, that you say I am. I think he's funny. And, I think, though, that he completely used a term that he shouldn't have. I hate that word. I don't care who says it. I hate it, period. There's so much negative history and connotation with it that I don't think anybody should say it, period. Bill Maher, clean up your act. Kathy Griffin, sweetie, you want to make a name for yourself. There's a lot better ways to do it. But unfortunately, I think the way that you tried to do it possibly ended your career more than it was already ended.
Yeah, the word's pretty funny when Cat Williams and Kevin Hart use it. I mean, come on.
No, I hate it, period. I don't care who says it. And I've said that before on Twitter. It is not a good word, period. I don't care what connotation it is used. To me,
I don't like to hear it in songs, the lyrics of songs.
But to say it as loud and fervent, to disagree with it as loud and fervently as you are, it's a self-righteous indignation. I mean, you'll never agree with that, but that's what it is.
No.
There's no question. It's not even debated.
Oh gosh, I thought I was moving. I was going to move on to the next topic, but I've got to get reaction. I'll start with Jamie. Jamie, you go first.
Well, you know what? I actually happened this weekend when I was hanging out with my guy. We were watching Cat Williams. And we watched him for like an hour and a half. And then we watched Dave Chappelle for an hour and a half. We really just vegged out and watched two Black comedians that I love. They say the N-word so much. And in a stand-up comedy routine, I don't care what you think. It can be so funny. They're Black. okay? And for some reason, if you're black, you get to say it in a joke, okay? And do I like the word? And do I think it can be used in a way that is completely inappropriate? Especially, I'm sorry, if you're any color but black. I mean, I'm just being real, and I know a lot of people aren't going to like my answer, but I wasn't sitting there offended and upset and about to cry because Cat Williams said the N-word in a joke that was so funny I cried. I just don't care. And I have to agree. I think Russell called you on that one. I think it's a way to sound like you have the moral high ground.
All right, but that's kind of a double standard, because here's my take. I don't have a problem with the word either, especially when it's used in by comedians or it's just when it's depending on the context. Now, if a Nazi-looking white dude spouts the word at a black person, yeah, I've got a problem with that. Comedians, not so much. But see, here's my thing too. Bill Maher has gotten a lot of grief over this. But to your point, Jamie, the brothers can say it 24/7, and that's okay.
Even the real light-skinned ones.
Even the light-skinned brothers, right? Russ, you've been in the sun a lot, so yeah. Even some Korean or Thai in my case, But so I'm, the Bill Maher in like, I think, was it Donna, or if Donna said it right or someone said it, that he actually referred to himself as, saying it to himself. He was calling himself one. So it wasn't attacking anybody, and it was obviously him a little tongue in cheek. But again, I see it kind of as a double standard because, as you said, Jamie, you probably Netflix chilling with your dude on the couch on Netflix and, laughing your ass off for a few hours.
Yeah, exactly. And I was never offended, okay? And I have, we all, I'm sure, have black people in our lives who we love. And we would never want anyone to say something derogatory to them. But it's context is everything. And it's just like the way Bill Maher said the N-word in front of a congressman. If he had said it in a stand-up routine and in the right context, maybe we can laugh. It's all about A, perception, and then B, context.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if Bill Maher was Mexican or black, and that Republican senator said, "Hey, come join us working in the field." That would have been considered derogatory. See, but since Bill Maher's white, it's not.
All right, next topic. I got a few more before I let you go. Our HUD secretary, Ben Carson, who is in this case might be, I don't know, is he qualified, overqualified for that position, whatever. He made this.
Was he really a brain surgeon?
Yeah, he made this asinine comment in the last week or so, Russ, where poverty, this is on video. I know the link says CNN, Jamie, but this is on video. Poverty is largely a state of mind. He has since clarified his statements. Russ, the whole Ben Carson thing as the HUD guy, I didn't get it, but for Carson to make a statement like that, yes, he's since apologized, but that is his mindset because of, he doesn't get it. Maybe, Russ, hello.
Well, even Rick Pitino says success is a choice, right? Now, I mean, you know what? I'm going to do. I'm just feeling real controversial now. I'm going to go ahead and defend. Let me start out by saying I think Ben Carson is a nincompoop. I mean, an absolute.
Why are you using words like buffoon and nincompoop tonight when it's an internet radio show and you can go?
I feel like
you can go. I mean, you can.
These words are the best. Colorful. I think this is the best description of Ben Carson. Nincompoop. Okay. I can call him a dumbass, but everybody calls people dumbass. He is a nincompoop.
Hey! I gotta say, at least he's not calling him the N-word. Okay.
Oh,
exactly.
Good God. Kind of touche there. Kind of touche. But finish your thought. Go ahead, Russ.
Honestly, he's too he's too not black to call that anyway. I don't think he would fit. Or not in the cultural sense, I'll say. But Yeah, he's just a nincompoop. He doesn't have no kind of social tact. He doesn't. I mean, he is just. I mean, an egghead would be a better word too. If he actually was a neurosurgeon, which it could be fake news for all I know. But yeah, I mean, assuming he's some kind of neurosurgeon, he probably should have stuck to that because public speaking is certainly not his thing. Opening his eyes wide is definitely not his thing, and being coherent in saying anything is not his thing. So. I got an idea. Let's make him director of HUD. And like I've said this on the show before, what happened there was Ben Carson in the campaign, for some reason, some political strategist thought it would be good to have for Donald Trump thought it would be good to have Ben Carson on the roll call there on the dais. And so they said, hey, if you'll come out and support, we'll throw some kind of job at you. They didn't tell him what it was going to be, obviously, because when he got it, there was some kind of, at least his people didn't know what the hell, what? HUD? What does that even mean? So, I mean, at least him or somebody on his team didn't know what the hell that meant. So, much to his surprise, he's in charge of this, so he's going to say some stupid shit. I mean, fortunately, he doesn't have the floor like Donald Trump does. So, I mean, imagine all the stupid shit he says that doesn't get reported is what I would say. But yeah, I mean, it should show you how just absolutely insignificant these appointments are. I mean, they're significant on one hand because they can go in there and screw stuff up and fire people and deprive people of needed resources. But on the other hand, it's obviously not that important because they'll give it to just about anybody that with any qualifications.
Can I
Donna,
raise a
go.
different interpretation? Yeah.
Go, Donna.
I say, okay, I think there's a very good reason why he said what he said. There is a discourse on the right, and again, not every conservative believes this, but I've sure heard it from a number of my conservative friends, that if you are poor or if you are in a bad situation, it is partially your own fault because you didn't work hard enough or you didn't study hard enough or, perhaps you didn't, become a member of the Lucky Sperm Club or whatever it is, you are just to blame for the situation that you are in. I have the feeling that what he was saying was a dog whistle to people who absolutely believe that people who are poor, it's their own fault. People who are on food stamps, well, they're probably just junkies, that kind of stuff. So I think that whether he personally believes it or not, part of what he was hired for was to put forward the kinds of discourses that people in the base expect to hear. And sadly, there really are some people who believe that if you're poor, it's your own fault. He knows better than that. He was poor and it wasn't his own fault. He really did get dealt a very bad hand growing up. Now, agreed, he had a mother that really stood by him and encouraged him. But as a former counselor, I can tell you not everybody has that kind of family or that kind of parenting. And if you don't have a lot of self-reliance and if you don't have mentors, it could be a real problem for you. And I think we've got to get away from blaming people and start trying to address the reasons why people really are poor. So I thought that while his comment probably made some people in the base real happy, I thought it was a very unhelpful comment, and I wish he hadn't have said it.
No one phrases the comments like Donna. She just, it's kind of like
he has a long list of unhelpful comments. We probably do better to list his helpful comments. That's going to be a much shorter list.
Sure.
Well,
all right, Heather,
you chime in here.
Oh, real quick, then Heather, you finish. Or yeah, Jamie, okay. You go ahead.
I do think that Donna made some great points. But I think that these statements that politicians can make, they can get so oversimplified. And, for example, parents who abuse their kids are far more likely to grow up and abuse their own children. These things run through generations. And I think that what Dr. Carson was, he was referring to like literally generational curses. And I don't think we should be, going so far off base here that we're insulting literally a neurosurgeon. This man was raised by a poor single mother in Detroit and then retired as not just a neurosurgeon, but the director of pediatric neurosurgery at Johns Hopkins. So, I mean, he has come so far in life, and why wouldn't we want to stop and listen to what he has to say about what gets people stuck in poverty? And there is so much truth to what he said, because let me tell you something, I'm a single mom, and I've been on my own with my daughter for pretty much her entire life, since she was 8 months old, and I've had no help. My ex-husband is a piece of trash. His help toward me has been minimal. It's inconsistent. So I only rely on myself, and I have had to figure out a lot of crap, and I was in debt for a long time, and I'm not going to go into all that, but what I will tell you is that money is kind of like a brick, in the comparison that, I can take a brick and I can throw it through a window and break it, or, I can use it to start building a house. So you can use it for different things, and it can be, you can trash it, or you can figure out how to multiply it and do positive things. And it is a mindset. In poverty is a mindset when you have people who aren't educated on how to attain, but not only attain money, because getting it is one thing. We have millionaires, people who hit the lottery, who dig themselves into debt. Okay, because that's where it is a mindset, and he isn't wrong. And I think he's brilliant, and I don't think we should be trashing him like that.
Okay, fair.
I'm going to stand up and keep trashing him, because just because you can operate on somebody's brain doesn't mean you can talk with any kind of coherence whatsoever. And he has demonstrated that time and time again. So I'm sorry I can't judge his political speak based on his ability to, fix a couple of neurons, but I'm just not going to. I'm probably not going to think that he's, really good at, golf either until I see proof of it. So he's just, there's a lot of things that I'm going to reserve judgment on, but his ability to convey ideas to mass populace is pathetic.
All right. Heather, finish it.
So being a Kentuckian, I think there are situations like what happens to a lot of people, especially in the eastern part of our state, where they don't have the resources and nobody gives them the resources to pull themselves out of poverty. Those are the folks that I think, as a nation, we sometimes forget, and that we don't give the proper tools to give themselves a better life, or their families a better life. I also, again, live 25 minutes outside of Cincinnati, and I've seen people driving fully loaded Escalades, and they have I don't know, they have what's the proper term, a WIC card or a food stamps card in Ohio with a fully loaded Escalade. I think, what Ben Carson may have been trying to do was address the folks that abuse the system. However, he did it poorly, and he did it clearly with an ill choice of words. I also believe, too, that there are people who are in the system who don't have a way out because they don't have the proper resources, and people haven't guided them with the proper resources. And many of them don't have the education to find the proper resources themselves. Those are the people we need to help. And I don't think as a whole the government has tried to do that as much as they claim to have had. I also do, on the flip side, agree that there are people who abuse the system, and that has not been addressed either.
Very good. I've got one more topic to throw at you guys, but anything else, Russ, you want to add to this before we move on?
No, I just think that...
You want any more colorful adjectives? Buffoon, nincompoop.
Well, what I was thinking is that Ben Carson makes George Bush seem like he's pretty good at making speeches, and I kind of like George W. Bush, and I thought he was not. I would never use the word buffoon or used car salesman on him. Even if I disagreed with a political thing, he at least seemed somewhat genuine in what he was delivering, which I can't say the same about our current commander in chief. And I don't, outside of an operating room, I don't know that I could say Ben Carson is even coherent. I mean, he's got a picture of a self-portrait of him with Jesus holding him in bathrobes in his bathroom. I mean, what kind of sane person makes that choice for a decoration?
Wait a minute, not just any Jesus. He wasn't a
blonde-haired, blue-eyed, 10-pound, 6-ounce baby Jesus.
It was black Jesus, right? Just to be straight shooting here.
I don't know. I mean,
either way,
fictitious character.
Okay, yeah, all right. All right, guys, we've gone overtime. I did reach out to my second segment guest. She's waiting for me to give her the thumbs or the heads up to call in, but I do I do have one more topic to throw at you guys, and I appreciate you guys hanging out with us a little longer than planned. But this is one that kind of this rubbed me the wrong way when I first read it. First I kind of snickered, like, what the fuck? And then when I read it twice, it was like, are you serious? Texas teachers give, in quote here, most likely to become a terrorist award to a 13-year-old. This was as school was finishing up. And, the whole terrorist thing, correct me if I'm wrong, is kind of a sensitive topic in the U.S. and definitely around the globe. The students, in this case, I'm sorry, say it again.
Russ? You said correct you if you're wrong. Not in Texas. It's not.
Oh, not well. Yeah, that's a good point. And this, the student is evidently Hispanic. Poor taste is what I thought. So I'm gonna start with Russ. Russ, you were actually in Texas. You were working there. And, what's the vibe, the whole thing there? What's your take on this?
I don't know. I mean, it seems like if they were trying to go with stereotypes, they kind of, I was expecting the kid's name to be Muhammad if he was voted most likely to be a terrorist, but But anyway, yeah, I don't know. It seems like kind of just like a bunch of stupid people to me. That's what it sounds like.
That's in the teachers, right? That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Donna, your take.
Yeah, I have seen some teachers get caught up in disliking a certain student, okay? And I'd love to tell you that all teachers are always professional, and, we certainly should be, okay? I'm a professor. There are some students who I am not personally fond of. I find them to be whiners or, this and that. But there's probably students that don't like me a whole heck of a lot. These things happen. But we should still be professional towards each other. And the sense that I get is that there just are some students that the kids don't like them and the teachers don't like them either. And what's sad about that is if nobody stands up for this kid, what kind of a life is the kid going to have? I don't know anything about this kid. I don't know what the backstory is, but somebody should have been an adult here and put a stop to it before it went any further. And clearly somebody abdicated their role as an adult, and I find that profoundly disappointing.
I heard he tried to make his girlfriend wear a burqa. That was the problem.
There you go.
Donna, as a teacher, what would be the award you would give Russ? Most likely to what?
Most likely to come up with unique words for people.
Buffoon.
Donna, I would be the student that you love to hate. You'd be like, okay, all right. You would just tolerate me. You'd be like, all right, fine.
Can I tell you something? I have never been upset with students who disagree with me. The only thing I ever ask is, give me some proof, give me some evidence. We can just agree to disagree. But if all you're going to do is rant and whine, I'm not going to be real fond of you. But that still doesn't mean that I shouldn't act like a professional. Two wrongs.
I think the only thing we disagree on.
All I'm saying.
Yeah, the only thing we actually would disagree on would be religion, and you just ask for proof and evidence. So you're going to be in a lot of a big uphill struggle there.
No, because proof and evidence can be experiential. Okay, if you have an experience that there is no God, I can't criticize your experience.
That would be circumstantial evidence, Miss Halper.
Absolutely,
that would be circumstantial.
But it wouldn't be.
It's not
something.
No.
There are certain things that just are not worth arguing about. Where there are people that just have different perceptions of issues, and as long as we're not trying to impose them on each other, there you go.
Seems
pretty convenient.
I know.
Some things you shouldn't just argue about. If we disagree and there's no proof, we won't argue about it.
All right. Let's go. Who hasn't responded to this last one? Jamie, Heather. I don't know. I have not. All right, Jamie, jump in.
Well, I do want to point out a few things that weren't necessarily put out there for Donna, and that's that the teacher did this for every student. So every student got something that was satirical in nature, and that was pointed out before these awards were given out. And when she gave it, and I'm not accusing her, okay, I still think the entire idea is preposterous and wrong. I just think we need to put all the details.
That's all I'm saying. That is all I'm saying.
Exactly. I just think that we should point out that she didn't get individually victimized here. That this was every student in the class got something. The teacher took humor a little too far. And, your role as a teacher is to maintain authority. You're not there to be buddy-buddy with these people. Kind of like I'll never be buddy-buddy with my daughter. I don't care how old she is. Maybe when I'm a lot older, we might consider ourselves somewhat of friends, but you have to maintain that authority. And teachers that want to take things to this level where they're buddies and they turn it into a comedy show, it's unprofessional on every level. But I do think, let's level the playing field here. This lady did this for every student, and she pointed out when she gave the award that this was her most well-behaved student who was never late and got straight A's and was a wonderful example. And that's why it's supposed to be fast.
I still think there's a technical term for this, though. Wicked stupid. Okay?
Right. Yes, exactly. And I agree with you. Totally.
That's the best Boston accent you can do. She's wicked stupid. She's wicked hammered.
Heather, finish it up.
Park your car in the Harvard yard.
That's better. Yeah. If we're going to get stereotypical.
I don't know anybody who talks like that.
Yeah.
Anyone who talks like that.
Heather, wrap us up.
When it comes to good teachers, I often always thought when I was in school, and even with my kids now, that teachers who both have book smarts and common sense are the best ones. Unfortunately, you run into teachers who don't have both. I think in this occasion, you ran into teachers because it sounds like there was a group and this was, satirical, so on and so forth. It was meant to be a joke. This is where they kind of ran out of common sense. And common sense would be that this probably isn't a good idea, especially given the climate in the world nowadays. And exactly. I could easily see how a parent would be upset about this. And I could easily see why people would look at this teacher and just say, really? And as a parent who has kids in school, if you are a teacher that thinks you're trying to be funny, you're not being funny. You might want to second guess what you're doing if you can't. I don't know. I just don't. To me, this is common sense. I don't get it. Like, how could you possibly think this was funny? And I just don't agree with what they did or what this administration did. And I perfectly understand. I get why the parent was upset. If you are going to be an administrative role, whether it's as a teacher, a principal, so on and so forth, and you are charged with educating our youth, don't do it by doing something stupid. I don't know what else to say.
No, that's perfect. Now, what would have been, I don't know, would this have been funny or not funny, Russ, if the child, after getting that award, was picked up by her parents and they were going out of town, via the airport. So they get to the airport. The certificate is kind of hanging out of her backpack. Someone at the airport, TSA, sees most likely to be a terrorist. How would that have gone over at the airport?
Most I don't know. Somebody would have saw it. Yeah, it could have been another, ridiculous news story we could have talked about anyway.
Yeah, there you go. That would have been the next topic, maybe. All right. Okay. Anyways, I was trying to be funny there. No one laughed. Ugh. But here's the last. I know. Here's the last take, and maybe you all will laugh at this. I found this article. For the record, I will routinely. Well, not routinely. I'll go to Playboy.com for the articles. Yes, for the articles, because there are some interesting articles. I found this article.
Plus their porn is boring. Their porn sucks.
Yeah, now check this out. But the article, and I'm not going to go into details of the article because I don't need to. All I need to do is state the title of the article. The title of this article is "There's More Than 173 Years Worth of Video on Pornhub," Russ. That's your boom statement for the night.
How many years?
173 years. I don't know if somebody can do the hours. What is that? 2,080 hours in a year times 173. That's a lot.
That's misleading, though. That's very, very misleading, though. Because
I figured Russ would clarify.
A lot of it's going to be in genres that I'm not. A lot of that's going to be in genres that I'm not even interested in watching. So if we narrowed it down to what I would like to watch, it's probably only about 30 years. realistic.
So what do you like?
No, Heather, stop.
Man.
No,
Some raunchy stuff.
Now, see, that gets us right back to the sex life of penguins. I'm glad to see that we've come back to that.
Nice take, Donna. We've come full circle.
Yeah, I will say
right,
it's pretty heteronormative, but it's pretty raunchy.
I totally just said that to be ridiculous.
I know. All right, Donna Halper, Jamie Jaggers, Heather Tungate, you guys came on and killed it tonight. Thanks for hanging with us for an hour and a half, 90 minutes.
God.
Pleasure was all
Time
ours.
passes when you're having fun. Thanks for having us.
Yes. Thanks, ladies.
Penguin porn.
Good night, ladies.
Good night.
Oh, wow.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Night.
Oh, the ladies came on and helped us out with that first segment, Russ. Nice. Penguin porn.
So they made it. They made it.
All right. I don't know if we can go. Well, there might be some segue, Russ, and you might be able to help us out to go from penguin porn to burlesque. Is there a segue? Because our guest for this last segment, Siobhan Atomica, who puts the ass in bluegrass as an ass.
Ooh.
That is an ass. I've seen that ass. Oh, Russ, you've seen that ass. You were there at a burlesque gig at the Cure Lounge with the ass haulers, I think last year, and she was there. She was killing it.
Seems to be a whole ass theme there. You know, the ass haulers, bluegrass, burlesque.
It is.
I don't know how the Cure has. I don't know how the Cure fits in there, but that's the Cure for
the Cure Lounge.
Things that ail you is ass.
Yeah,
Cure for that's ass for sure.
What is up, lady? It's been a while.
Not too much. It has been a while. I am currently in Kentucky. I'm actually leaving Kentucky tomorrow, but I will be back at the end of the month to do a show at Cure Lounge with House of Dicks. Yes. They're doing a back to the 90s burlesque show, so I'm really stoked about that.
Are you performing there, or is this is this your show? How is this all working out?
It is not one of my productions. It's the first production by House of Dicks. So Stevie Dicks, Ethel Lovelace, and some other characters are involved in House of Dicks, and they asked me to come and perform in their first show. And they're some of my burlesque children, so I couldn't say no. So I'm gonna go have some fun with them. And the whole show is 90s themed, so all the acts are gonna be different things from the 1990s. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
I'm a little worried about this whole House of Dicks thing. Explain the House of Dicks a little further.
Well, that's what they call themselves in the drag community. There are houses, so to speak, and it's just different groups of people. People kind of form their own family. So the House of Dicks is the family of people that have kind of sprung up around Stevie Dicks, who is one of my burlesque children. Stevie Dicks is also a drag performer. So I hope that.
So there are dicks involved. That's what I was trying to figure out.
There are dicks involved, but you probably won't see them on stage unless you pay a whole lot of money.
What's the going rate?
You have to ask Stevie that. I mean, that's a lot of untucking to do, you know.
And Kevin is genuinely interested. Don't get him wrong.
No, I mean, I just ask the questions. If some people may want to know, Russ, just because, anyway.
Inquiring minds like yours.
Yeah, House of Dicks presents Back to the 90s. It's June 24th, the Cure Lounge, 10 p.m. You got a kind of a who's who with the burlesque scene here locally, because I was just at a burlesque show last month or within the last couple months where the Ass Haulers, it was at the Cure Lounge. The Ass Haulers did play.
Ethel Lovelace set that up.
Ethel Lovelace, right?
Yeah, that's it. Burlesque children. So, and Stevie has a burlesque drag child now named Stephanie Dick. So I'm actually a burlesque grandma now.
Oh wow!
Mama Atomica. So
nice.
There's that.
Is that like a BILF, or how does that work? Burlesque.
BILF.
A big gilf.
BILF.
I don't know.
A gilf.
No, a bug gilf. Yeah.
Bug gilf. Oh wow! Now let's remind our audience. You are involved. Well, actually, not involved. You founded the Kentucky Burlesque Society, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Tell us about your baby.
Well, Kentucky Burlesque Society is a production company that does a lot of different bespoke events, and we also do quarterly productions. We just got done with a fundraiser on Friday that I produced in Lexington. It was the 5th annual Vagabond Variety, and it benefited Greenhouse 17, and we raised over $1,500 for them. So that was really awesome. It was a really fun show, and we had a great time. But we do all kinds of things, and we have all types of performances in the shows, aerial performers and contortionists and acro yoga and drag and flow artists, hula hoopers and strip teasers. It's like a sexy adult circus, more or less. But you're going to see a little bit of everything. There are lots of surprises and breasts of all sizes. That's what I like to say.
And breasts of all sizes. Surprises and breasts of all sizes. Yes. What, Russ? What do you?
Hopefully the breasts on the same person are around the same size. They don't have to be exactly the same size, but you don't want a C or like a B cup and a D cup on the same person.
You don't want
that's a little off.
You don't want an astigmatity, so to speak.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, you want some a little bit of symmetry there. You know, general amount of symmetry.
Now, you also kind of trek back and forth between Kentucky and, is it Portland?
Yes, Portland, Oregon.
Yeah. What's the story there?
So I started going out to Portland about 5 years ago to do burlesque shows, and I fell in love with the city, and my trips got more and more frequent. Now it's to the point where I spend 2 months in Kentucky and 2 months in Portland, and I just go back and forth. But when I'm in Kentucky, I'm usually in a different city every 3 to 5 days. For instance, tomorrow I'm going to Indianapolis. I'll be there for a week working at Flamingo. It'll be a lot of fun. And then I'll come back home for a day, and then I go to St. Louis, and then I go to Oklahoma City for the Oklahoma City Burlesque Festival, and then I come back home for a few days. I go to Louisville. I come back home for a few days, and then I go back to Portland, and I'll be there for most of the summer. And I'll come back home, and I've got a bunch of stuff booked out. I'm pretty much booked out until the summer of 2018 at this point, which is good, but it's also kind of overwhelming to look at it all. But I've been doing this burlesque thing for about 9 years now, so it keeps me on my toes.
So have boobs will travel is the theme then, right?
Much. If you're throwing it, I'm showing it. That's all good.
I've heard a lot, or I've heard at least some rumblings that Louisville and Portland have similarities and things in common. What would you say is something that Louisville and Portland share in common?
Well, the biggest thing I would say is the Keep Blank Weird. One of my favorite venues in Portland, Dante's, has Keep Portland Weird painted on the side of the building. And a lot of people take pictures there. I'm pretty sure it's in the theme reel on Portlandia. I perform there quite a bit in Inferno Cabaret. But as you know, Louisville also has Keep Louisville Weird. But they're both kind of artsy cities. The Highlands is the most Portland part of Louisville, I would say. If you just turn the Highlands into a whole city, that would be Portland, more or less.
Okay.
No shout out to Nulu though. No, I mean Nulu's trying.
Well, Nulu is nice too, but Portland's a little rough around the edges, which is another reason why I like it so much. It's not all nice and fancy and new. It's a little rough around the edges. There's a big heavy metal scene there, and I love heavy metal. Tons of strip clubs in Portland, and you can't throw a stone without hitting a strip club. And that's my kind of place. So I just have a lot of fun in Portland. I will say that the food in Portland is good, but it's very different than the food in Kentucky. And I miss Indies and Ale 8 something awful when I'm out there. So every time I come home, I have to get some Indies and some Ale 8.
And Indies as in what?
As in the spicy fried chicken.
Indy fried chicken down on Broadway, okay. Kevin.
Okay, that's what I'm making sure. Yeah. Well, I get the wings there. I mean, I get the spicy wings that wreck my butthole for the next few days, but
yeah, pretty much.
It's
great going in, not so great coming out, but it's really great going in. So it's just a sacrifice.
So wait a minute. Do us a favor. Say that again one more time. It's what?
It's great going in, not so great coming out, but it's a sacrifice that you have to make every once in a while because the food is that good. You just got to deal with it.
You got to deal with it.
It's like having a hangover,
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking hangover. Yeah, there you go. Now in Portland, though, is burlesque? Can you do nudity and is nudity allowed for burlesque in Portland?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
They're actually, like, you can be naked anywhere in Portland as long as you're not trying to, I forget how it's worded, something like elicit a sexual response. So you can walk down the street fully nude, but if you start, like, bumping and grinding on the corner of the street, you're going to have problems. But,
wait a minute, whoa. What?
In broad daylight?
Yeah, in broad daylight. You can just walk around naked in Portland. Yeah.
That's not, wait a minute, whoa, I've not heard that.
Balls out. We're talking balls out. Tackle box displayed.
Yep. Just, you know.
Kevin, let's go to Portland.
No, I would want to. But wait a minute, you're going to have to, I've never heard that. You're saying that nudity is allowed and accepted in Portland.
Google it.
I mean, it's not super common, but it does happen, and it's not technically illegal. Portland has some of the most laid-back cops I've ever seen. Because I work in downtown Portland mostly, and it's where most of the homeless people gather because most of the tourists come down there, and the local people aren't going to give them money, so they kind of survive off the tourists. But you can just, like, walk down the block and see about 75 homeless people on each block, and most of them are trust fund kids that have decided to be homeless for the fun of it. But there's, like, oogle crest hunt kids drinking water out of the gutter through crazy straw and playing drums on buckets and begging for money and smoking crack, you know, and the cops are just like, well, you know, you're not killing anybody, you're not dead, it's fine. And they just walk along like they don't really care.
You feel like the pigeons and the ducks suffer and the squirrels suffer for these kids doing this though? Because I mean, usually the tourists would feed them and give, you know, give resources to.
I honestly don't see too many ducks or squirrels. The pigeons are very fat, though. So I think the pigeons are doing just fine.
They're doing just fine, aren't they?
Pigeons are doing just fine. They're waddling around, big bellies.
Wow.
Have you ever walked down the street totally nude in Portland?
I have not.
What's stopping you?
That's something. I don't get naked if I'm not getting paid.
Well, you know what? There you go, Russ. So once again,
teach me because I get naked without getting paid.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Russ, you know, up the
I'm
ante.
like a Mormon otherwise, you know, it's like the sheet with the hole in it and all that. Not really, but no, like, I'm not gonna be naked in public or dress provocatively if I'm not getting paid. Most of the time, I look like some kind of evil hobo lesbian. If I'm not on stage, people usually don't recognize me on and off stage, and I prefer it that way. But
evil hobo lesbian.
Yeah.
I dress
break
all that down, Russ.
Baggy clothes. Baggy clothes, no makeup, you know, my hair's up in a bun. I'm just I'm not putting it out there if I'm not getting paid. I don't want that kind of attention if I'm not getting paid to deal with it, you know? Like, I'm fine with myself. I don't need some random guy at the grocery store to tell me I'm hot. I know I'm hot. I just need him to tell me that. It's fine.
Oh.
So, like sounds like you're pretty unapproachable for the courtship ritual.
Pretty much, yeah.
What is your status?
I will approach them. What is my status?
So, are you currently?
I'm married to my job. That is my status. I'm married to my job. So,
all right. So is that you love it that much?
I do.
Job.
I do.
Okay.
I really
is
do
your job,
love what I do.
Is your job a generous lover?
Usually. Sometimes we get down and out, but for the most part, my job is very good to me. You know, keeps me satisfied. Okay. Not a lot of complaints.
Okay, well, that's all you can ask for.
Yeah.
Now,
I bet you still. I bet you sneak behind your job's back and take care of it yourself sometimes, though, don't you?
Well, I mean, that's a discussion that could be had for.
Let's save that for the for part 2, Russ. We'll do we need to I got ideas. We'll talk about that later.
I can't believe I choked her up a little bit there. That was pretty good.
I know she did a little bit of choking. Now
I was just trying to think about how to put it.
Yeah, how to put it. Yeah. What are the couple of the big differences between Portland burlesque and burlesque here in Kentucky?
Well, there's way more burlesque in Portland. It's been there for a much longer amount of time. There are a lot of different shows. They can get fully nude if they want to, and a lot of times people do get fully nude in burlesque shows there, and it's no big deal. Things get a little bit weirder there.
Hold on. Define weird.
I mean, it's just I think it comes with the territory of people who have been performing for 15 plus years versus, I think Louisville's had a burlesque scene for maybe 7 or 8 years, maybe 9.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and most of the people in Louisville have not been performing that entire time, So there aren't as many established performers. But there's one girl in Portland who's absolutely amazing, and she's a fire performer, and she is a contortionist, and she does burlesque, and she strips on roller skates, and she combines it all together. But she also does puppetry, and she does great Jesus Christ Superstar act with a Jesus Christ puppet that she simulates oral sex on, and it simulates oral sex on her. And it's great to watch.
Wow, Russ.
Jesus
Christ,
Russ. I don't think you're going to see that in Louisville. I don't think you're going to see that in Louisville. But maybe one day I will bring her to Louisville. So we'll just see.
Please, yes.
We'll be sure to alert the Courier Journal.
And get on roller skates? Have you ever seen somebody trip on roller skates while eating fire?
No.
I mean,
no.
Yeah.
No.
See, that's a
sounds like a pretty good. Sounds like a pretty good idea for a roller derby to me, though.
Right. Right. The bars in Portland also close at 2:30 versus 4:00 in Louisville, and Louisville has the modesty laws, where you're not supposed to show your under boob, and you're not supposed to wear a thong, and all these other. It's very, very oppressive in Louisville, the modesty laws, and it's frustrating.
Very puritanical, isn't it?
Yeah, but it used to not be that way. But they did.
Well, it doesn't have something to do with the alcohol at the establishment too. You can't serve alcohol and have nudity. Isn't that the law or something like that?
I don't know. That's the thing. The laws on the books in Louisville are very murky. And it's my understanding that depending on which person comes in to check things out, that's what the laws are for that day. So one day it's fine to be topless, and another day it's not fine to be topless. So it's tricky. It's tricky in Louisville, but in Portland they're just like, yeah, be naked. It's fine. Go for it.
Yeah. For the record, during this show, Russ can concur with me. We have no rules or laws on your your wear. So if you're totally naked right now, it's totally fine.
I got 3 or 4. I got 3 or 4 moves I can do with puppetry of the penis, and I feel like I got potential to improve if I had some tutelage. But I got even in a flaccid state, I can, I got a little material to work with, and I can like twist it around or do like a hot dog bun.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I got some material.
No, trust me, I'm his buddy. He's being
way of saying,
he's being modest. Yeah. He's being modest. I'll vouch for him.
Yeah.
Not that
when I say I got a little material to work with, I'm saying that I could do a puppet show and have it be seen at least back to the 5th row. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, wow.
Oh.
That reminds me of a story with a girl I worked with once. We were sitting in the dressing room, and she was telling stories about how she was hooking up with different guys from Tinder, and that one of her favorite things to do to like test the waters and see how weird they would get with her would be to dress their erect penises up in Barbie costumes.
Oh, wow.
Like little Barbie outfits, and like make them talk. Yeah.
Totally down.
And she said that was her way of sussing out, like whether or not you want to see them again. And she told it in a much more riveting way than I just did. But I'd never heard of anyone doing that before then. But I commend her for doing that. That is creative.
As long as we can take a trip to Pound Town right after that, I'm fine.
Oh.
Material could be put on there. Could we go from the say if Barbie wanted to wear a cowgirl hat to cowgirl boots? Would all that wardrobe make it?
I mean, I suppose it could. You could have Malibu penis, and what are some other Barbies? Like the veterinarian, and have a little dog with it. Who knows? I mean, you could get wild with it.
I feel like I would want mine. I would want mine to have a ball gown on.
The ball gown, yes. That would be like
because it's kind of apropos at that point. You got the ball gown on, and it kind of finishes right at the balls,
All right, getting back to burlesque. What's one of the misnomers, if you will, misconceptions that people think or figure that
commonly
burlesque.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I think
I would say that a big misconception is that people will come to a burlesque show with a very limited exposure to burlesque, and they have this idea in their head that burlesque is like the movie Burlesque with Christina Aguilera and Cher, or that burlesque is just Dita Von Teese. But burlesque is so many other things. Burlesque is theatrical, satirical striptease with comedy and variety thrown in to the show. All thrown into the mix. Striptease wasn't introduced to the art form of burlesque until the 1920s, and burlesque has been around ancient Greece. So it's satire at its core. But people would come in expecting, like Christina Aguilera Cher movie or Dita Von Teese, and there are some burlesque shows that are that way, but it's not every burlesque show. So people will get kind of up in arms, like, this show wasn't just like Dita Von Teese. It's like, well, I also don't have $200,000 to spend on costumes, so I'm sorry, but that's not how everything is. And honestly, you can be in a burlap sack, and if you're a good performer, you'll be fine. But I do get pretty glamorous with what I do, but I also have some costumes that are not so glamorous. But it's about like telling a story and taking the audience on a journey with you. It's a journey, not the destination. If it was the destination, I could walk out on stage naked and say, "Fuck you, pay me," and walk off stage. But it's not that way. I have to entertain people and take them on a story, take them on a journey, tell them a story. So. Yeah. Big misconception is that it's all super glamorous like Dita Von Teese and Christina Aguilera, and it's not all that way, which is one of the things I love about it.
Now, at this 90s event, back to the 90s, are you performing?
I am performing. I will be the only classic burlesque act in the show, but I'm dancing to songs by Prodigy. So, that's kind of my gimmick. My shtick is I do classic costuming and movement to rock and roll, heavy metal, weird music that people wouldn't necessarily expect. So this is actually one of the feature sets I do at Kit Kat Club in Portland, Oregon, a few nights a week when I'm working out there. And I'm really excited to do it on a burlesque stage in Kentucky.
Nice.
But
Russ, June 24th, I think, June 24th, Russ, we're going to have to pencil that in. Just saying.
Yeah.
For sure.
June 24th.
I'm just disappointed. June 24th sounds great. I'm just disappointed because I was thinking, what's the potential that I could go to Oregon and get your friend with the Barbie costumes and be part of the show? I mean, I'll just kind of sit there and then she could do the voices. And I want to be.
I can put in a good word. But that's all I can say.
On stage, can we do that on stage in Portland though? I mean, would that be something that...
In Portland, you could totally do it. I don't think it would go over so well in Kentucky.
Yeah, but you think Portland would be interested? People would be like, "Oh, there's a cock with a Barbie outfit. That's great."
Potentially. I mean, it might be in a dive bar. Potentially,
Yeah, it might get uncomfortable pretty quick.
Would it? What would be a theme song? What would be the song playing in the background for you, Russ?
I'm all right. Nobody worry about me, like Caddyshack 2 or Caddyshack 1 or whatever. So the gopher kind of dancing around because he's popping up out of the hole.
Oh, he's okay.
I'm probably, you know what? I usually don't need medication, but if I'm going to have to maintain, I don't know how long the set is. If it's like a 4 or 5 minute set and in front of an audience, I may need a supplement there. We may have to go with a little V pill or something just to,
marijuana is legal in Portland. I'm just saying. The marijuana is legal in Portland, so you can get baked out.
Does that help erections? I'm not sure that's going to help an erection.
It could, depending on the
Definitely helps. Definitely helps sex.
It definitely helps what?
Okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
I mean, it makes sex pretty interesting, but I don't know about public erections.
Good God. How did this, we took a right turn somewhere, and
it's called puppetry of the penis, Kevin. We were
puppetry of the penis.
Yes, HBO did a thing on it. I saw it a long time ago. Real Sex 27.
Real Sex. There you go. Yeah, third segment. Season 2, episode 3, third segment. Puppet segment.
It changed my life, Kevin.
All right. Give us, before we let you go, share with us, well, besides, we got the June 24th event, but is that the next local events you got here in the state? Share with us what you got coming up and tell how everybody can reach you on social media.
Okay. Well, yes, the June 24th event at Cure Lounge, the Burlesque and Variety show happening there, back in the 90s, presented by House Dicks, is the only show I have booked in Kentucky this summer. I will be traveling the rest of the time. I'll have a few more dates in the fall, and then you probably won't see me again until next summer. Because I've got some other things lined up. Yeah.
Wait, you're gonna be out there for like through the winter until.
No, I've got.
Oh, you're talking Louisville.
Things up my sleeve.
Okay, up your sleeve.
You'll just have to see.
Okay.
But I've got some other things up my sleeve. But there's very limited chances to see me in Kentucky. If you want to see me in Kentucky, definitely check me out on June 24th at Cure Lounge for the Back to the 90s show. It's going to be mostly neo burlesque, a lot of variety, some classic burlesque, some aerial stuff, some drag. It's going to be a lot of fun. And you can connect with me on Instagram and Twitter under Siobhan Atomica, and my name is spelled really crazy, and everybody fucks it up, but it's fine. Thanks, Mom. But it is spelled S-I-O, B as in boy, H-A-N, and it's pronounced Siobhan. I know it's got a B, but it's pronounced with a V. My mom named me after a character in an Irish soap opera in the 70s.
I was using the B. So it is V. It is the V. Siobhan. Okay.
Yeah, Siobhan. Yeah. I just changed my last name for Sage, so that's how we got here. But connect with me, Siobhan Atomica, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr. There's probably some others that I'm not remembering. Mostly I'm on Instagram and Facebook. There are a lot of pictures of my butt on Instagram. My butt is known as the Boom Doot. It's its own entity. So
it's known as what now?
It's the Boom Doot.
Own entity. Yeah, it's got its own
Boom Doot.
Yeah,
the Boom Doot. That's a story, a quick story. I'll tell
you. How did it acquire that moniker?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I am a metalhead, like I mentioned earlier. So I was going to a lot of doom metal shows, and people started calling me Doom Booty because the doom metal shows have big butt, and it makes sense. Well, one night there was a drunk guy at a show who was like Boom Duty instead of Doom Booty, and it just kind of stuck, and it got shortened to Boom Doot or the Doot or Duty. So people kind of interchange calling me Doot and my butt Doot and Boom Doot, and it's just, but it's like the Highlander. There can be only one. There's only one Boom Doot. That's mine.
Only one Boom Doot. Okay.
That is one of the sweetest asses, Russ. That have.
You need to put a picture of that ass on Twitter and put hashtag Boom Doot.
I do it all over Instagram. So if you look up the hashtag Boom Doot, you'll see a lot of pictures of my butt. Good time. And video.
Right now.
Yes. Definitely follow her there. Because she is one who is, I would say, loud and proud, which is it's a good thing. I mean, this is obviously what you do. Proud. And you're very proud. You're very confident. You do it very well. Check her out. She's got you've got some great videos on YouTube too. And I mean, you do tell stories. You do tell stories when you perform. It's awesome. So I'm kind of, this is kind of one of my new guilty pleasures. So I'll plan to, sneak in a little hug and make
the Church of Doot.
Yeah, the Church of Doot. I want you to turn around and let me pray or bow to the Doot. So
yeah, you can bow to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's fine. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for having me on the show. Yeah. This is a lot of fun.
Oh, it's always a great time. Hey, anytime you are promoting anything project-wise locally, let me know, and we'll always have you on.
So. Will do. Absolutely.
Okay.
And I hope to see you all and all your listeners on June 24th at Cure Lounge. We're back to the 90s.
Let's do it.
And bring your tip in dollars.
Yes, absolutely.
Come toot the Boon Doot.
Yes. Thanks, Siobhan.
Thank you so much, Siobhan.
All right. Yeah. Have a good night.
All right. Siobhan. You too. Bye.
She is Russ. She's an absolute sweetheart too. And of course, what a show tonight, Russ. Man, it was like we were like so serious the first segment, which turned into like 90 minutes, and then we gave Siobhan about almost 45 minutes.
I'm watching a video of the Boom Doot right now.
Did you look her up?
Yeah, I'm watching the Boom Doot in some leopard pants.
She's fucking legit.
Quite the Boom Doot.
Yes, she's legit. And the thing is, in talking to her, she's such a sweetheart because she's as cool as fuck. And I'm gonna bug you. I'm gonna go. I will go. And actually, I just messaged Jamie to see what she was doing. She's kid free, so Jamie is gonna go. We're gonna get some people to go. We're having like a little mini shooting from the lip night. So we'll get you, Mallory, because Mallory will enjoy that. You'll get a babysitter, and we'll.
She'll probably get on stage. Mallory will probably want to be on stage.
Why not? You're going to want to get on stage.
Of
course. Russ, when's the last time you and I hung out? Too long.
It has been a minute. Yeah, you keep dodging.
I know. No, you just happen to. You're just into other Kevins these days.
No, I don't think that nothing's materialized. I'm just over here tooting the boondoot.
I know, tooting the boondoot. Now, I have to kind of give heads up. Next Monday's show, I gave you the heads up. Next Monday night's show is going to probably be one of the most heaviest controversial shows we've done together, Russ. The segment we're going to dedicate a 10 to 11 time frame, basically an hour to it. If it goes that long, I think it will. I sent you an article where a local establishment got caught up in a situation where a chick supposedly was involved with, as they're saying now, was possibly roofied. The chick was in the bathroom with 6 other guys. A gangbang occurred, and some douchebag elected to film the whole thing and put it on social media. And I gotta show you, Russ. I'm gonna send you the screen print of the guy who filmed this. Posted on Facebook. This is where stupidity. You're reminded that stupidity does exist. This guy posts on Facebook acknowledging that he filmed it, and because of all the backlash, had to delete it as if he didn't do anything wrong. And I can only imagine if, I don't know. We'll save it for next week. But next week, the lady who wrote the article that was posted in a music magazine website here, she's going to come on. An individual who is brought the article to my attention. He's a music guy. His girlfriend has been involved with an incident that could was possibly linked to some of the said drug that was involved. And the owner of the venue is going to be on. So we're going to be covering a lot of we have a lot of voices. I'll be talking some good details on what it is. The story is that the concept of this segment is the article, but the owner of the venue that was involved will come on and share his take on what he knows went down, what he has since done to try to help the cause, help the healing, help the situation, and move forward. So it's going to be a very interesting show next week. So Russ, if there is one time that I need you to do a little bit of homework before a show, that would be this next show.
No, you just give it all to me right there.
Well, I basically have, but I do want you to read the article to really know where the author of the article is coming from. And but you and I will talk beforehand, because this put it this way, Russ, it probably could have been on my Tuesday night music show, but the content I think is too much where I think I needed to bring it on the Monday night show. I think you and me would tackle this a lot better than I could on Tuesday night. And but there has the response to the article that was posted on Facebook. You would not. I'll send you the link to the post. There have been hundreds of comments on this from various musicians, various people. It's going to be a show where we'll have a lot of people paying attention to the content. So tomorrow night, I will be doing the Tuesday night music show, or tomorrow, when I say tomorrow night, Tuesday night. So that will be at 10 p.m. Eastern time. Stay tuned for those links. Russ, anything you didn't get to talk about tonight that you wanted to? Russ dropped. Okay, I guess Russ is done. For Donna Halper, Jamie Jaggers, Heather Tungate, Siobhan Atomica, Russ Hinkle, I'm Kevin Hale. We wish everyone a great night and a pleasant Tuesday. Peace out, Louisville.
At no time were any animals or people hurt during this presentation of Shooting from the Lip.